Can everyone hear me? Okay, great. Thank you so much for coming to our first internship preparation and handshake orientation, which is a joint webinar between EPS and the Career Center. Thank you so much for coming. I just want to introduce our presenters today. I am Miss Rollerson. I'm the Director of Undergraduate advising in the school, in our school, in School of EPS, Economic, Political, and Policy Sciences. And we do have Miss Amy Kendall, our EPS career consultant from the Career Center. And then we also have Amy Howell, also from the Career Center, the experiential program department. So, and we have Dr. Melinda Hicks, who will be handling our PowerPoint presentation this afternoon. And then we have our fabulous social media person, Shabna Amini, in the background. So I'm Miss Rollerson. Um, as I said today, what we're going to talk about today, our goal is to help you as the student become better informed about internships, what that means, what that looks like for EPS. What is an internship? How do I how do I go about looking for an internship? How can I get credit for an internship? So those are the basic things that we will be talking about and discussing today. So during the presentation, if you do have a question, please put it in the chat. Someone will be able to respond to your question. And we will also have a time right at the end for you to ask questions as well. So we want to be respectful of your time. So we want to start on time, and we want to try to keep this right at an hour because I know some of you probably will have classes right after this. So we want to try to keep it right at that hour limit. Now, toward the end of the presentation, you have to stay through the whole presentation, but toward the end of the presentation, we will have a drawing for some door prizes. Okay, from the list of attendees. Unfortunately, not the list of registrants, but we will have door prizes for the list of attendees. I just want to give you a quick show of what the door prizes will be. We will have give away some EPS hoodies that kind of look like this. Yeah, they're very warm, and it's going to come in handy in the next day or so when we drop down to 16 degrees. And we also have this, they tell me this is a locator or finder. So we'll have these. These are our door prizes. So at the end of the presentation, we will take the list of attendees and we'll have a drawing, a spin the wheel, and you will be notified via email, by your email, of our winners. Okay. So, and today's webinar will be published on our YouTube channel. So if you have to step out for a class or anything, you can watch it again, pick it up where you left off on our EPS YouTube channel. Okay, so we're going to get started right now. So what are we discussing today? Next slide, please. What are we discussing today? We are going to talk about what is an internship? What does that look like? What does that mean for EPS? How do I get academic credit for the internship? We get that question a whole lot. So we're going to talk about that today. And then how do I find internships that will apply to my degree program? Next slide, please. Next slide. What is an internship? An internship is a form of experiential learning that integrates knowledge and theory learned in the classroom with practical application and skills development in a professional setting. Basically, what you have learned, what you are learning in the classroom, you are going to put that to practical experience on your internship job. Internships, they are intended to provide you as the student with academically relevant work experience. They can be paid or unpaid. Our fabulous associate dean, Dr. Denise Booth. I'm not sure she's on this webinar today, but she is working very, very hard to get some paid internships for you guys. So they can be in person or virtual. We have had some students do virtual internships since we are living and breathing and working in this pandemic state, and they must be directly related to your major. Okay, they must be in a professional environment with a supervisor or manager who will support you through this internship. Okay, next slide, please. Now, how can I get credit? You can receive up to 6 credit hours for an internship. Let me just say 6 credit hours is the maximum you can receive at, on your degree plan for an internship. Now, internships are graded on a credit no credit basis. It is not for a letter grade. So to earn 3 semester credit hours, you have to work a minimum of 120 internship work hours. For 6 credit hours, you would just double that for 240 internship work hours. Now, some employees may require you to work 20 hours per week. So that would be 240 hours per semester. So that would be 6 credit hours. But let me say this: the minimum is 3 credit hours. Now, if you want to register for below 3 credit hours, you will need to receive prior approval before you accept the internship or before you can be registered for the internship. So it's very important that you speak with your academic advisor. Okay, talk with your academic advisor, even if you're thinking about internship, or just talk to us about that. We want to know uh, how we can help you. And the way we can help you is communicate that information to us. Okay, next slide, please. Next slide. Eligibility. What is required? Eligibility requirements to receive internship credit. You must be in good academic standing. This means you must have a minimum overall GPA of 2.0. You must complete at least one semester at UT Dallas, at least 12 semester credit hours, complete at least 18 credit hours in your major. These will be your junior, your senior level courses in your major. Then meet with your academic advisor to make sure that the internship applies to your degree program, to your major, and then you will report your internship in Handshake. The Career Center is going to talk to us, going to walk us through how to report your internship in Handshake. Now, for our F1 visa holders, you must have completed at least 2 long semesters at a U.S. University prior to accepting the internship. So that's very important. So be sure and speak with the ISSO office to confirm this, because these requirements are subject to change. So make sure you're not only communicating with your EPS undergraduate advisor, but also with the ISSO office. Okay. In addition to that, some internships and employers may have additional eligibility requirements. So these are the basic requirements from EPS, but your internship site, your internship employer may have a few additional requirements that you must meet as well. Okay, next slide, please. Course credit. We're continuing with that. Internships are not retroactive. Okay. You cannot get credit for an internship that's done in a prior semester. So we have had some students, ask about if they can get internship credit. They may have done an internship credit over the winter break or something, but you must get pre-approval for internship, not retroactive, and also you cannot earn internship credit for your existing or current employment. Okay, not even if it's a new project or experience, or if it's at a different branch or location. Okay, um, you, you we just will not be able to give you that credit for that. Okay, right. Next slide, please. Okay, so you found an internship. You've spoken with the internship site, the supervisor. Now, how do I get the course credit? What is the next steps? The next step is to complete the internship process with your internship site supervisor and then submit all the appropriate documentation as requested in Handshake. Again, the career consultant ladies will talk to us a little bit about, walk us through reporting an internship in Handshake later. And then an experiential staff member will send a request to us, to your academic advisor, to register you for the class. So be sure and complete that Handshake request. As accurately as possible because we will need to know how many credit hours that you will be seeking on your internship. And then we, your academic advisor, we will enroll you in the class and then we will email you the internship course syllabus for that semester. Okay. So we ask that you really, really read that course syllabi because there are deadlines and deliverables that you need to meet within the first couple of weeks that you're on your internship site, your job, and first couple of weeks that classes begin. Now, let me make a note here to say when you register for an internship, it's just like you're registering for a 3 semester credit hour lectured course. So tuition and fees will be assessed for this internship. So just kind of keep that in mind. If you register by the last day to add a class for um, regular or late registration, we will register you in the regular registration time frame. But if you do not get all your paperwork signed into Handshake, you can still participate in the internship. We will just register you for the second 8 week session for the internship. That's every semester. Okay. Next slide, please. Okay. I just want to point out one particular item in the course syllabus. It's the goals and objective form. We have a copy of that form to the right, to the left of the slide here. But you will work with your internship supervisor to develop 3 specific goals and objectives within the first 2 weeks of classes for the term or your specified internship. So you and your supervisor are going to work together to develop 3 goals and objectives for your specific internship. Okay, so would need to sign it. Your supervisor will need to sign it. Then you will return this goals and objectives form back to your supervising faculty instructor of record no later than 2 weeks after the academic term begins. Now, you ask the question, who is my supervising faculty instructor of record? You will find that information on the first page of the course syllabus. For instance, Dr. Richard Scotch, he will be the supervising faculty instructor of record for sociology. Dr. Daniel Orsay for the economics program, for political science, public policy, in any international um, one of our international majors, that would be Dr. Thomas Brunel. So this information is located on the first page of, um, of the course syllabi. Okay, next slide, please. Some additional requirements that may be required. You might be asked to participate in a site visit. So you ask, what is a site visit? A representative from the University Career Center experiential program team, they may ask you to schedule a brief visit with you and your supervisor at your work location just to discuss your internship experience. So it'll be your responsibility to um, to coordinate this site visit between the career consultant at UT Dallas as well as with you and your supervisor at the internship site. Okay. So let's not risk losing your academic credit. So if this happens, this may or may not happen. This is not a given. It may or may not happen. But if it does, just please work with our career consultant in order to make this happen. Now, the final stage, the final step in the internship process is to complete a final project, which is called an internship reflection paper. This will be 5 to 7 pages, and it is explained in more detailed in the syllabus. But the gist of it is the reflection paper will focus less on the organization where you're interning with, but more on the role that you played and what you learned from this internship experience. Okay. All right. Next slide. Before we talk about finding an internship, I've been doing all this talking now for about 15 minutes. Are there any questions? I'm just going to pause for a few minutes. We'll be able to take a couple of questions. Are there any questions? If you would raise your hand or you can put it in the chat and we'll be happy to respond to them. Okay. All right. If not, you ask the question, how do I find an internship? There are several different ways that you can find an internship. One is networking with family or friends. If someone is employed, working, doing the career that you want to do at someday, talk to that individual. Find out, how they obtained a job. What was the process? Okay, networking with your families and friends, talking with your professors. Yes, talking with your professors. They're a great resource for you. Visit the Handshake portal on the UTD career website, and also your our associate dean, Dr. Denise Boots, and your academic advisors. We send out information emails from time to time once about internship opportunities that come our way. So check your UTD emails regularly for this. Okay. Next slide, please. Finding an internship. Where have our students interned? Where have former EP students or EP students interning right now? Law firms, our political science majors, U.S. Department of State. This past summer, during the pandemic, it was a virtual internship, but one of our students interned in Belize with the U.S. Department of State. So you have U.S. Department of Commerce, of course, the Plano, Richardson, Dallas Police Department. Our criminology majors usually take advantage of that. Health and Human Services. Our students have worked in the Child Support Division. Some sociology students, some public affairs students, the Children's Advocacy Center of Collin County, North Central Texas Council of Governments, our GIS students have interned there before, as well as the National Center for Policy Analysis. We have our public policy, our public affairs students, even our economic students sometimes have interned there. So, what you want to do is go to the Handshake portal to see where our EP students have interned. As well, come and talk to your academic advisor as well. Come and talk to us. We'll be able to help guide you, through this entire process. Okay. Next slide, please. I just want to give just a couple of precautions that we have encountered these past couple of years. And due to the issues related to COVID-19, this is very, very important. Be sure to discuss your internship responsibilities, pay, your duties, if you are performing those in person prior to accepting the internship. if you're going to do an in-person internship, just make sure that you are comfortable with their COVID-19 protocols. Okay. Now, these terms should be in writing with the employer. And if they're not, then it's okay to ask about them as well. So, and if you're not comfortable with them, um, be sure um, to just have that conversation with them. I'm pretty sure everyone is willing and to discuss their COVID-19 protocol. So also, if you have any problems with your internship during the course of the term, such as your pay being withheld, if you're fortunate enough to find an internship that pays, or they cut your hours, are there major changes in your responsibility, or are you there's disagreement with your prior contract? If you are having some concerns, some problems with it, please immediately notify the Career Center's Assistant Director of the Experiential Programs, who is Mrs. Brianna Hobbs. Please, and your academic advisor, please contact us, and either the Associate Dean of Undergraduate Education, who is Dr. Booth for us. I'm not sure if there's any graduate students in the audience today, attendees today, but if it is, the Associate Dean for Graduate Education, who is Dr. Kim. So again, if you see something that's happening, you're uncomfortable with it, talk with us, because we want this to be a great experience for you, and not one that you want to regret. Okay. And on the flip side, this is not in the slides, but on the flip side, um, we want you to also be respectful of your internship site. We want you to be on time for your internship site. We want you to be prepared. We want you to know the culture of that internship site, of that work site. And so you're not only representing yourself there, but you're also representing UTD, and you're also setting precedent for students to come after you as well. So make sure the company is treating you right, and make sure that you're doing your part as well. So the last thing on this slide is, if you have any questions concerning, your reflection paper, the grading, or the final requirements, always reach out to your supervising faculty instructor of record. That is who you will turn this reflection paper into. Okay, next slide. Okay, so for more information, contact your assigned advisor. You see our names here, our alpha sequence here. You see one that says vacant. Very good news. We got good news yesterday. Um, we just hired an advisor for this alpha sequence, and they will start on February the 14th. And so we will be emailing you more information and introducing you to your advisor. Okay. Next slide, please. I'm almost done. I'm almost done. Bear with me. Wait. There's a few more things I want to bring to your attention. Next slide, please. We have some upcoming EPS events. Monday, the 14th, Valentine's Day, but we're going to be talking about building relationships with professors and seeking mentorships. We're also on the 15th of February, we're going to be talking about graduate readiness orientation workshop. It's called Grow. They're going to be talking about seeking government employment and navigating USA jobs. Then in March, we're going to be talking about the Peace Corps programs and careers. So if you're interested in that, please make a note to come March the 22nd. Then on April the 19th, we're going to be, EPS is going to be talking about pathways to employment. It's going to be a series panel, and we're going to be talking about EPS in technology. Okay, so the panelists, we're still getting that together. So make a note of these days if you would like to participate in any of our upcoming events. Okay, next slide. Any questions? Do we have any questions? right now? Do we have any questions? So don't leave. Remember, we have a drawing of the EPS hoodies and the tile to be held. We're going to be doing that drawing from the list of attendees. Next slide. As I stated earlier, next slide, please. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter. But this webinar will be on our YouTube channel later today, tomorrow, this week. So right now, I would like to bring up and present to you Amy Kendall, our EPS Careers Consultant. Thank you, Amy.
Hello, again, my name is Amy Kendall. I'm the career consultant for EPS. So that means you can schedule any appointment with me for all your professional development needs. We have resume appointments, job and internship help, mock interview information. So anything in regards to your professional development, you can schedule an appointment with me via Handshake. So I am going to go into Handshake a little bit before we turn it over to a member of our experiential team. Right. So I'm going to start at the UTD website, and I'm just going to, in the search, I am going to put the Career Center. Simple way to get to it. And then we have the UT Dallas Career Center. On the Career Center page, there is, of course, a bunch of different resources for you. I'm going to show you just a simple way to get to Handshake. So we just go to appointments, and then if you go to make an appointment, it'll take you directly to your Handshake. When you register for classes, you get set up with a Handshake account. All you have to do is go in and activate that account. So it'll bring you to your page. If you go to Career Center, it'll bring you to the Career Center website. For Handshake, you can schedule appointments here, has our mission and different information on here. The main thing that I want to show you guys today is how to find internships. We also have events, so you can see employers. This is what it'll look like when you see jobs or internships. The best thing to do is use the filter option. So you can go full-time, part-time, internships, there's on campus, there's different job roles you can input, industries. So if you're looking for something specific, you can definitely narrow it down to that. We have majors. Sure, it will pop up. You can click on any of these majors. And there's work authorization on here. And you can just show results. And so then it's going to pull up a bunch of different internships that you can click through. You can click and look on the actual company and learn more about that company as well. Right. So that is just kind of a short introduction to Handshake. Again, you can schedule appointments with me to discuss your resume, help searching for internships or even jobs. I always recommend to schedule a resume critique before you start applying to internships, so that way we can make sure that the resume you're putting forward is the best resume possible. So definitely schedule something before that process of actually submitting your application, so we can make sure that is good to go. Um, but yeah, any questions about Handshake in general? I am going to turn it over to Amy Howe, but I just want to see if there's any questions about what I just went over. All right. Well, I will go ahead and turn it over to Amy Howe, so she can talk a little bit more about internships and Handshake as well.
Thank you, Amy, and thanks, Sheila, for all that good information at the beginning. So, as Amy said, I'm going to kind of walk you through how to report an internship in Handshake. But I'm also going to navigate you to our website as well because we do have a few pages with some important information, such as registration dates, what documents you need, and all that sort of thing. We also have some really good how-to kind of videos. So we'll get to that in just a second. But so um, where Amy was. So once you get to your homepage of your Handshake account, and if you haven't activated it or been on much, you'll log in with your net ID and the password you use for Galaxy and Orion. So um, once you land on your homepage, um, again, you see your jobs, events, and employers tab. You will come here to Career Center. The same kind of way that you are able to make an appointment with the Career Center with Amy. So we kind of use the jargon experiences instead of internships because it is a valid kind of, it's an experience. Um, so you'll click experience is, and that is where you will request an experience. You can click this button or this button. So once, and let me stop there. Once you get to this point, before you get to this point, make sure you have um, your official offer letter from your internship and a valid job description. So typically, whenever an employer offers you an internship, um, and it kind of varies from employers, some employers maybe aren't familiar with the process. Maybe um, you'll need to kind of provide them what you need in order to report for academic credit. And I will get to that as well, but we do have a sample offer letter. Um, but again, so once you get your documents all together and you are ready to report for academic credit, you'll come here, request an experience, basically report your internship. So I won't go through all of this, but in the interest of time, but again, so you'll click experience type. And for EPS, you will click EPS because that will bring up specific EPS related survey questions um, in regards to what courses you have to choose from, how many credits, that sort of thing. This term button is very important. Again, Sheila mentioned no retroactive, so obviously we only have spring 2022 available, and then each term I will also show you guys the dates on our website, but each term as they are open and closed obviously will reflect in Handshake. So we'll click spring. You will fill out your employer name. And if they are an approved employer in Handshake, they will pop up here. So it's totally fine if start typing your employer name and they pop up. You can by all means click this. It may or may not auto populate the rest of the information. So if you do see your employer name pop up, it auto populates. Just make sure it matches up with your particular, branch or location of employer. And so again, fill out all the location, the address, phone number, your email address for your employer. It will ask you for your job. Sometimes it's just intern. A lot of times, you'll have a specialized intern title. And then you can put department if you know what kind of department you're going to be in, a part of in your internship. These dates are very important. It doesn't have a asterisk, so it's technically, I wish it was, we could require every single thing, but please make sure you're filling out your dates that coincide with what it has in your offer letter. And so again, I'll touch on this in a little bit, but these dates should coincide with the semester you're doing your internship. And then job type, it'll be, internship usually. Employment type, um, you can click this full-time. Again, it all depends on if you get a part-time or full-time internship. And then salary, you can put salary if you feel comfortable. If not, we just need to know whether it's unpaid or paid. And it asks when you accepted the offer. and whether or not you did. I apologize. Um, and then keep going down here. It asks, obviously, this more important information. What's your net ID? That way we can look at your information. And then ask what a good telephone number for you is. Indicate the semester your anticipated graduation. This is just for our kind of records, because if you are doing a internship this spring and you're graduating, we want to make sure you don't work past that graduation date. And then another important question, whether you're F1 visa or a U.S. citizen. And then again, it keeps going. It won't let me go to populate to the next page because obviously I haven't filled anything out. But the next page is where you'll enter in your course. It auto populates to put in your major in an undergrad or graduate, and it'll help you auto populate which internship course you need to be entered into. And then once you click submit, you will then see kind of a landing page of your internship, and that is when you'll upload your offer letter and job description. Um, and then so once you submit that, um, our office, the experiential programs team in the University Career Center. So this is what I do every day. So I would go into Handshake. I check it about twice a day. So any pending internship requests, I would, go in, check all those questions you answered, make sure everything matches up with what's in your offer letter. One really important point, we check the employer, um, you know, address, whether you're working remotely or not, because again, we're in that time. So I basically go and make sure, you'll be safe, whether you're going to be working at the office or not, making sure you have a good start and end date. It's not retroactive, hours per week, um, what address again you'll be working from, supervisor information and signature, and then a really good job description, what you'll be doing every day, what you'll be learning, that sort of thing. So, and then once we approve, like Sheila said, we will send it over for approval in Handshake to EPS. And then at the same time, we send that email to them requesting your internship course registration, and you will be copied on that email. So I don't know if there's any questions about reporting, but I will kind of go on to kind of show you some more resources as far as reporting and all that. So once you're on our main page, the University Career Center, our tab is right here, experiential programs. And so you have overview, internships, we have on-campus international internships, we have our externship program, and then our comment tracks. So you will click just internships. This tells you just a little bit about how to find internships opportunities, just like how Amy kind of went over. Um, and then earning academic credit. These two drop downs are really important. I know we went over the eligibility, and this takes you directly to EPS if you ever need to go directly to their internship page. This is that important tab I was telling you about, how to report the experience. I reference this page a lot. I send this out a lot because we have a how-to video that's really, really helpful. It kind of walks you through all the way through. And it also right here gives you step-by-step instructions on how to report. And then this is kind of what I was talking about earlier. So we do have downloadable instructions, essentially the same as what this how-to video, basically walking you through on how to report it. This sample offer letter, again, you can always use this for your own reference, but if you have an employer that maybe isn't familiar with, what documents you need, you can always send this to them and say, this is, what my university this for reference, like what it needs to show you. So I will kind of show you this real quick, but essentially, it'll need to be on the company letterhead. Um, and then it doesn't have to be in this exact layout, although it's really easy to read. It doesn't have to be in the exact layout. A lot of offer letters aren't, but as long as it has all the bolded information, again, the title, the dates, the hours per week, whether it's paid or unpaid, your supervisor's intern or information, and the job description. And then always make sure the offer letter is signed by company representative, and that could be HR, human resources, or your supervisor. Okay, and then one other thing I wanted to point out, real quick, I know we're running out of time, these dates. So again, we touched on retroactive, not doing retroactive. However, these dates you'll want to, we update this according to the academic calendar and the ISSO, if you are an F1 visa holder. So these will tell you the request period in Handshake. This will tell you how long reporting will be open in Handshake. So for this spring, reporting will close March 21st. And then, just like Sheila said, the 8 week session, the last day to enroll in that is March 17th. And then again, if you're wanting to look at summer, we also have summer ready. So summer reporting opens March 7th and closes July 1st. And you'll see the registration dates here. And we also have fall. Now, we did have a slight change this semester with the academic calendar. So this, come back to this if you do notice there's a change, or um but we usually update that, accordingly. So I know that was a lot of information, but I will drop all of these links in the chat as well. But didn't know if there are any questions. I'll stop sharing my screen. Thank you so much.
I'm muted. Okay. Thank you so much, Amy, Kendall, as well as Amy Howell. We have one question in the chat. Um, the question is, which department requires a 16-week session? Um, y- you let Shamna, can you unmute that person's mic so she can explain her question?
I think
Go
I
ahead,
know what
Amy.
I think I
Okay.
know what they're asking. Should be, well, maybe I don't know what they're asking. I don't know. If so, as far as that question for me, it reads, because out of all the university, or out of all the schools we have, ATEC and BBS, they don't do a second 8 week, um, if that's what you're asking. So I know EPS does allow both.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Right, great. Okay, so that answers your question. Yeah.
Okay.
Like Amy said, some of the departments only offer a regular full term academic session credit. They do not allow like the 8 week session. But EPS does. We do allow you to register for an internship in the second 8 week if for some reason you were not able to get all of your documentation in before that last day to add a class for late registration. So regular registration is all the way through late, the last day to add a class for late registration. And so if you don't, then we will register you for the second 8 week. So that is important because of the number of credit hours you want to receive. You will be able to receive 3 credit hours in an 8 week session, but you may not be able to receive 6 credit hours because you would need to do 240 internship site hours, work hours. And so you will be doing that in an 8 week session. So You may not be able to get 6 hours credit, but definitely 3 hours credit. Now, we do have some time left. If you have any questions whatsoever about EPS requirements for internship or Career Center, how they can possibly help you with your resume, the internship experience process. Please, we are available for. We have some time left. We are available to take your questions. Please ask your questions. We want to make sure that you have a full understanding before you leave this webinar of what is required in EPS to earn academic credit, what an internship looks like, what does internship mean for EPS. Okay, have a hand up. Brittany, can you unmute Brittany for me, please? And she can ask her question. Brittany, can you hear us? Can you? Okay, ask your
Hi.
question. Hi.
So I was in class, and I was really interested in this when I was in class. Are you guys gonna send out this recording, or can I get the recording so I can watch it to see if I have any questions? Yeah,
Sure.
that's my question.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. The recording, this is recorded and it will be on our app's YouTube channel. Shamna, can you just come in a minute, come in for me and talk about that?
Yeah. So for sure it'll be up by the end of day tomorrow. And our YouTube channel is utd.link/YouTube. So I'll put that in the chat. But it should be up by tomorrow. And any of the other sessions that Ms. Rollerson talked about at the beginning will also be within 48 hours online.
Okay, great. Thank you, Brittany. It's a great question. Do we have any more questions from the audience, from the attendees?
Ms. Rollerson, I've actually been asked this question before, not in this meeting, but perhaps you could address it. Are internships required for EPS majors?
Oh, very good question, Dr. Hicks. Internships are not required as part of your degree graduation requirements for EPS. However, we do encourage you to participate in the internship experience, but they are not required at all. Okay, great question. Any additional questions? Okay. Any additional questions? We have a few more minutes. Okay, I see a hand up. Holly?
Hi, can y'all hear me?
We can.
Oh, thank you. So they're not required. What if it's listed on your degree plan? Because I think I'm a public policy major, and it showed it on my degree plan that I needed the internship. I mean, I still want to do it regardless. So it's not required?
No, what is required, Holly, as a public policy major am I correct? Is that your major? Public policy?
Yes.
A minor is required for the public
Okay.
policy major and not an internship, but you are required to declare a minor for that
Okay.
major. Yeah. Mhm.
Oh, thank you.
You're very welcome. Okay. Very good question. Additional questions, please ask us. Okay. Well, looks like we are a little ahead of our scheduled time, but I want to thank each and every one of you um, for listening in and for participating in our first webinar internship partnership with the Career Center. We will probably do this again. Thank you, Amy Kendall. Thank you, Amy Howe. Thank you, Dr. Hicks. For everyone for participating, and Shabna, thank you so much. Um, for helping to put this all together. And like I said at the beginning, in case you were not logged in at the beginning, we will have a drawing. We will have a door prize drawing for the list of attendees that that's about 20 of you now that stayed until the end. Again, let me show you our prizes. We'll have these EPS hoodies and the tiles. So what we will do, we'll do a drawing. It's called Spin the Wheel. And we will email you, if you are one of the lucky winners, where and when to pick up your prize. Okay? Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us, and have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye-bye.